Trump holding a third term is not legal. And this is not a situation where I need to do some digging into Supreme Court precedent and show you the various pronged tests required to determine whether or not he's eligible. This requires, frankly, zero legal analysis or even a law degree. You simply need to be able to read English. And in fact, I know the literacy rates in this country, so let me just read it for you. The Constitution is incredibly clear on this. The 22nd Amendment says, and I quote, "No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice." What's cool about the way our system of government is set up is that what the Constitution says is supreme law of the land. Congress can't pass a new law that says, actually, Trump gets a third term. They could pass a new amendment to undo the 22nd Amendment, but that would take years and a high level of consensus among Congress and the states, and that simply will not happen. There is no world where that is a possibility. One other possibility that's been floated is for J.D. Vance to run for president in 2028 with Trump running as his VP, and then he would hand the power over to Trump. Then technically, Trump only won 2 elections. He didn't have to run again, and J.D. Vance is just enough of a sniveling, affirmation-seeking loser that he might do it. However, J.D. Vance is kind of being groomed to carry the Trump baton into the future after Trump finally succumbs to the sweet embrace of death, and so getting him elected, only to then hand the power over to Trump, would then kneecap J.D. Vance's ability to serve as president for 2 full terms and continue the regime into the future. You know what I mean? Also, tiny hiccup, the 12th Amendment explicitly says in the very last line, quote, "No person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States." So despite the fact that many people have touted this succession plan for getting Trump back into office as a handy little loophole, it turns out the loophole doesn't exist. And the next in line of succession is the Speaker of the House. And then after that, the President pro tempore of the Senate. But then the fourth in line is Secretary of State. So in some absurd, unrealistic world, Trump could be appointed to be Secretary of State, and then everyone in that line could resign from the presidency until it got to Trump. But then he wouldn't be on the ticket. They'd have to somehow spell this out for his followers that this was their plan. It doesn't really make sense. The most logical plan is that they would ignore the Constitution, as they have tended to do thus far, and just do it anyway. And who's going to stop them? Any challenge to the election would have to wind its way up to the Supreme Court. That being said, Amy Coney Barrett, when asked to weigh in on the 22nd Amendment term limits, has admitted that the 22nd Amendment is pretty clear. But who knows? It's an incredibly convoluted plan. I'm not sure that there's a way that they could really have that play out in a way where they could legitimately claim that he was democratically elected. And as much as they are interested in breaking and ignoring the law, they are generally pretty interested in making it at least seem like they care about the laws and the Constitution and the will of the people in order to lend legitimacy to Trump's rule. So Trump 2028, I really don't see how it would work.